somewhere thinking of me on golden sands and lots of the ship that goes sailing. Welcome back, Facebook family and friends, to another episode of my little cocktail show, Rob the Rich, Free the Poor. So glad to have you with me tonight, whether it's live or sometime in the future. I've got some live folks already on the dot, on time. You get extra credit. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Stacy. Oh my gosh, we got live folks already. It must be the move back to Friday. Well, welcome back, everybody. So glad to share with you a few cocktails that are on my favorite list. Let me take another sip of water. Woo! All right, so the first couple, we're doing a all things old and new special today. It's a few cocktails from this great book that I got recently called Vintage, little pregame, Vintage Spirits and Forgotten Cocktails by the great Ted Haig, aka Dr. Cocktail. And he writes about the first one we're going to do, Knickerbocker A La Mashu. This 19th century hit had his and her versions, A La Mashu and A La Madame. Both were published in 1869 in William Tarrington's Cooling Cups and Dainty Drinks. Jerry Thomas first introduced the Knickerbocker in 1862. Harry Johnson printed the Manly version shown here. Father Knickerbocker is the allegorical patron saint of New York, and generations of native New Yorkers claimed kinship to him. Well, it's a fabulous cocktail. It will have to push the ancient arcane misogyny aside for a little bit. I know I've got some ladies on the show. We'll just let that one go. The fact that they even needed to make a distinction, because I've got some women, some of whom are on the show right now, who could drink my ass under the table. So I think the concept of his and her drinks is, dare I say, the most arcane concept of all. That being said, this is a delicious cocktail, and let's get into it. So this is Knickerbocker A La Mashu. All right. Okay. So we're gonna start with 2 ounces of rum. It calls for Virgin Islands rum. This is Barbados, which is pretty damn close. So we're gonna start with 2 ounces of. I love the smell. Oh my God, I haven't had rum in forever, and you know I'm basically, with a few exceptions here and there, not drinking during the week. So there's no research allowed during the week. So that kind of limits my and it's kind of good. It kind of makes me appreciate everything that's behind me that much more, and make it a little bit more sip and savor of an activity versus, you know, let's pound it and get wasted. Half an ounce of orange curacao. We are using Pierre Ferrand. This is the legit orange curacao, historic orange curacao. So this would have been the curacao that was used back in the day, so to speak, when these cocktails were made. Next is 1/2 ounce of raspberry syrup, and I'm very proud of this because this is my own syrup that I made all by myself. I made it all by myself, you guys. Made my own syrup. Just boiled some raspberries in some water and some sugar. This is actually lower sugar. I've lowered the sugar content on this just a bit to plus up and bring out that raspberry flavor a little bit. So 1/2 ounce of raspberry syrup in. Next, we're going to, we need some lemon juice. I've got some freshly squeezed lemon juice. I promise, I squeezed it earlier. 1 ounce, 1 full ounce of lemon juice. All right. So this will be on the tart side, but it's got a few other sweet ingredients in there, so that'll help. This will be lovely. And then, and then ice it up and shake it and then garnish. Easy. Knickerbocker. Good stuff. You know, the raspberry syrup thing, I'm telling you, that's where it's at. And you can make just a standard whiskey sour, 2 ounces of bourbon, 3/4 of an ounce of the raspberry, and like 1/2 ounce to 3/4 of lemon. I'm telling you. Make your own raspberry syrup. Your life will change. Give this a nice hard shake for about 8, maybe 10 seconds. So we can separate this. Not that I'm out of practice at all. And then I'm going to put a little bit of fresh ice in my serving goblet just to keep it cold. Why not? We got ice. So let's do it. Look at that beautiful red color. We're gonna really. It's almost kind of like a fix. You know, you can do this as a fix. A fix is has crushed ice. So we're gonna drop an orange in there, and I've got some cherries, and then let's do a lime twist on that. We're gonna express that around the edge. Drop that in. So we have the we got the entire garden in there. Totally looks like Hawaiian punch, right? Holy shit! All right, Knickerbocker. I was gonna say, Monsieur is definitely in touch with his feminine side, and you bet your ass there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think more men should do, in my humble opinion. Learn how to speak and use your words instead of just beating up shit. You know, learn how to talk and talk about your feelings. Oh, sorry. Did therapist Rob just have a little session? Oh my, here we go. Let's taste it. There we go. Ooh, that's great. The raspberry syrup definitely coming forward. Very tart, very light. Not very, not super boozy. The raspberry, oh my gosh. Beautiful. Yeah, add all to crushed ice. All right, so yeah. This was supposed to be a fix, so I'm glad I put some ice in there because, yeah, they were supposed to be filled with crushed ice. It's great. What does it need? Not much. Yeah, the rum is good. I would have liked to taste the rum just a little bit more. So let's see what happens. Let's go a little new on this. I'm gonna float a little bit of 151 on top, a little black rum on top, and just see if, just give us a little, you know, just a little nugget of some modern love. Let's have a taste of that. Oh yeah, a little bit more, a little bit more better, a little bit more rum in the nose. Whew! Damn, that 151 is strong. Yeah, that's good. I mean, for 1800s, folks, this must have been insane. You realize there was no like gin and tonic. There was no bars that had a gun. You know what I mean? Everything was all mixed and whatever. This must have been insanely good for 1800s palates. All right. Okay, so let's move on to our next one. I'm gonna set that one aside. Get rid of our ice. Got a little bucket over here. And let's see, the next one we are going to do is near and dear to my heart. What does Larry say? There are no masculine or feminine drinks, just people who aren't secure in... Whew! Oh, my former drum major, although I don't know if, actually Larry, I don't know if you were my drum major. I think, yeah, because I was a dumbass and didn't march 89. I drove a Jungle Cruise boat and worked on the Big Thunder Railroad instead. Not a mistake, but certainly a... you know, one of those things like, why on hell did I miss that season? Yeah, so you may be onto something, Larry. I'm not sure. I'm kind of prescribed to the Star Trek universe, where it's like, you bet your ass you could have a female chief of security. She can kick your ass. She can kick Worf's ass. You know what I mean? So there you go. All right, so the leatherneck is an old slang for a United States Marine Corps soldier, and as you may or may not know, our son Josh is a current United States Marine, so not only is this a historic cocktail that we make, but we also make it in his honor and all of the Marines who are, you know, active and not active and retired and all whatever. Semper Fi, thank you so much. Got some new folks on tonight. Was that Sherry? Sherry Rucker, one of my favorite people. You and your family, you have one of the most beautiful families I've ever seen in the history of the world. Your kids are so stinking cute. Oh my gosh. All right. I have a heart. Ron asked if I have a heart. It's big as your ass, man. Come on. All right, here we go. Leatherneck. This one's fun because this one gets to use blue curacao, which we never get to use. This is so much fun. All right, 2 ounces of blended whiskey. So we're not going to use blended whiskey because you know what? All the Marines I've ever met would say that blended whiskey is for another branch of the service. You know what I mean? So we're going to use Old Forester 100 proof. Old Forester, this was one of the first bourbons, you guys, that little historic note, that was actually bottled. A lot of bourbon at the time, all the bourbon at the time was just barreled, or you put it right into one of those little jugs, you know, like ceramic jug looking thing with the cork. Old Forester, this distillery figured out that, yo, if you bottle it, you're going to lock in the flavors and you're going to get a more consistent product. And from then on, we had bottled whiskey. And this is actually bottled in bond, which at the time, you may or may not know about this, but it was one of the first food safety laws that we had in this country that basically said, yo, there was a lot of sketchy bourbon and a lot of illegal hooch that was, you know, being made, and they were putting like tobacco juice and a bunch of other bullshit in there, and basically people figured out, hey, people are getting sick and all that. So it was one of the first food safety laws. Of course, classic America. We took care of our booze before we took care of food. Classic. So 2 ounces of our bourbon, and then we're gonna go 3/4 of an ounce of blue curacao. This is Driot blue curacao. Curacao, it's just an orange liqueur, you guys, with a little blue food coloring. This I made this cocktail last weekend, so 3/4 of an ounce. Has that rad blue color, and the the blue in combination with the bourbon is just fantastic. And then 1/2 ounce of lime juice. This is a very simple cocktail. In addition to it being a dedication cocktail to the Marines, I just want to say I could see Marines making this cocktail because it's pretty easy. It's all booze and there's a little bit of lime juice. And if you have 3 or 4 of these, you're going to be on the deck, you know, using your ass cheeks to like walk. So what a beautiful, beautiful thing. All right, so let's pop a lid on this, give it a little shake. About 8 to 10 seconds, maybe a little longer. Cool that down a bit. Yeah, the booze that built the food that built America. All right, and then I mean, it's supposed to be served in a high martini glass, but just knowing every Marine I've ever met, I can't imagine serving it in a Foo-Rah high leg glass. I could see myself get my ass kicked, so. And we're gonna follow this up with a little lime wheel on the side. Very simple garnish. Bootyful garnish. Oh, I'm gonna just wipe that around the lid, or around the rim just a little bit, knock it off on there. The Leatherneck Cocktail. Cheers. From, this is, by the way, where's that from? Where's that from? So, that moniker went all the way back to the Revolutionary War, when the Marine uniform, it used to have a high leather collar shielding the wearer from sword blows. So they called them leathernecks. We also learned that the reason why they call them jarheads, because my son, the Marine, trained us when we went down, when he graduated boot camp, that there's the hats that they used to wear. I'm sorry, excuse me, Marines, forgive me. The covers that they wore looked like buckets, you know. So they called them like jars. So they jarhead, leathernecks, whatever. They're badass. All right, Semper Fi. Here we go. Leatherneck. I know. Yeah. Jennifer says yes. I know. It's a very foo-foo drink. I don't know. The Marines are part of the Navy, and it kind of looks like the blue water, although it looks like the blue water in the bowl of an airplane. So yeah, I don't know. You guys, I didn't invent this shit. I'm just making it for you. I don't know. Oh, it's good though, man. That's so good. There's nothing to that. That is so simple. That's a whiskey sour. It's a blue whiskey sour with lime juice. and it's a cool color. So, you know what I mean? You could call it blue something. There's a thing. Okay, pink martini is on the Pandora right now. We could just call this the blue sour. I don't know. It's very good. Oh, that's rad. All right. Well, right. So Ron's dad, the Leatherneck, too cool. It's good. I'm gonna take one more sip. You guys can tell. You can tell. You're like, I think he likes this one because he's kind of lingering on it a little bit. Let's take a drink. Yeah, that's badass. That's my favorite kind of cocktail, guys. Simple ingredients, not super complicated, good balance. You know, the booze, the sweet, and the tart. Those are kind of the mainstays. So let's put this aside and move on to our next. All right, what's next? We are going to do the Scofflaw. So this is another entry in the Prohibition drinks market. I'll try and read and clean our tin at the same time. The actual term of the Scofflaw, that refers to, and I'm sure I would have been one of those people who during the Prohibition era said, "You're full of shit. I enjoy a beverage and I'm gonna have them, and I really, this whole Prohibition thing, you guys are full of shit and you are ruining it for the country." And guess what? It was repealed. We all know. It was a failed mistake, and I think as soon as the government, as soon as the pocketbook got affected, they were like, uh-oh. So they figured it out. But we'll have another one. Next time, we're going to do something called the 12-mile rule. It's another cocktail. So there are a lot of cocktails that came about during the Prohibition era that were named after various aspects of Prohibition. And this is named for those, I'm sure, like myself, if I lived back then, who would have said, sorry. It actually preferred, let's see, it follows the cartoon in 1924. One of two Paris American bars invented it. Harry's New York bar, which was actually in Paris, you guys. Okay, so here the cocktail, hilariously baited Prohibition sensibilities, a flouter of the Volstead Act. Right here. I got a bar in my stinking house. Yeah, so there we go. But it's good. You made this. There's nothing really to it. We're going to start with, what do we got? We've got 1.5 ounces of rye. Oh, this is some good rye, you guys. This is Sazerac rye. I bought this for making Sazeracs. It is beautiful. So it's 90 proof. This is an extremely well-balanced rye. It's not too bitter. And technically, it can still be rye and have other grains. I don't know what magic grains they're putting in this rye, but it's fantastic. And it's not super expensive. You could use Old Rittenhouse, 100 proof rye. This is 90 proof rye, so it'll be a little lighter in the alcohol, but it still tastes good. 1 ounce of dry vermouth. I am using Dolan dry vermouth. This is my favorite vermouth for use in martinis and the like. So let's, little overpour there. Nice to see some new folks today. Lori, good to see you. Thank you so much. And 3/4 ounce of fresh lemon juice. Again, I promise, I squozed this earlier today. This is 3/4 ounce. Yeah, there's even some pulp coming through there. Fresh lemon juice. I just didn't want to waste your time, everybody. And then it calls for pomegranate grenadine. Grenadine. But here's the deal. Grenadine, Rose's grenadine is extremely high in sugar, and I'm really trying to watch that. And it's made with that the high fructose corn syrup, which is like, blech. I mean, that's like worse than sugar. That's like, it's like the crack cocaine of sugar. It's like, it's really, really super sugary. It's really bad for you. So this is actually a pomegranate liqueur, which is low in sugar, but guess what? It has a little extra booze in it. That's okay. This is a show for grown-ups. If you're not over 21, get the hell off my show. But if you're here, we all know we are grown-ups. And so, you know what? We're going to use this beautiful, I have so many ingredients back here that we need to start using. I bought it for 2 other cocktails, and you can tell I barely used it. So we're going to drop that in there. All right? So this one's an easy one. Oh, yeah. We got Louis Armstrong in the background singing, What a wonderful world. I love it. Oh my gosh. Friday night with my friends virtually on Facebook. This is the life. Nice high shake. Get everything all mixed up. About 8 to 10 seconds till the ice melts a little bit. Beautiful. Let's see, what do we got? Oh, same glass. Let's check on the ice content. All right, just strain into a cocktail glass. Now, obviously, if you were live here in the bar, these glasses would be chilled, but I am not chilling them. So you can see what the cocktail looks like, which I think is kind of beautiful. And we need a lemon twist. So let's rip off. Let me get a little love in there. And, you know, I know a lot of these bartender people, they use the peelers and stuff, but I don't know, man. I feel like my knife skills are pretty good, and I enjoy the knife. You know, what can I say? So we're going to express that over the glass. Let's do a little wipey, a little twisty poo, and drop that in. This is, what the hell did I just make? I forgot. Oh, the Scofflaw. Now, this would have been a lot more red if we used that really highly sugary shit, but we used good stuff. So here we go. Cheers. Ooh, that's dangerous. Oh my. That is light. That is extremely light. It's definitely a little booze forward. You get that citrus kick. Let me drink some water and refresh my palate. Let me see if I can get a clean taste on that. There's nothing really spectacular in the nose other than the little bit of that fresh lemon. Yeah, obviously it's not as sweet, you know, because I used a pomegranate liqueur, which is much lower in sugar. So I don't know. My guess is if I used roses, it would be, I don't know, it'd be a lot sweeter. But I'm kind of over the super sweet cocktails. You know what I mean? It's like, if you want a super sweet cocktail, go, I don't know, go somewhere else. But again, that's really light. Here's what's cool about the lightness. Oh, what does Larry say? I'm not trying to go like bartender. That's right. I'm happy being an amateur bartender, sharing my little home bar that I get to enjoy now on the weekends with you guys. You're absolutely right. So screw it. It's good. Yeah, I don't know. It's good. It's super light. It'll work, man. Let's. Tell more sip. Yeah, that's a sipper. It's not super complex. It's very citrus forward. You get the rye. So if you like a whiskey sour, you'd really like that. All right, now we're gonna do some new stuff, some newer stuff that I think is just fantastic. And I'm grateful to share with you two cocktails from recent years. The first one is called Gordon's Cup, and the great Sasha Petrovsky. He was a. We all owe him a debt of gratitude. So you may not know who he is, but he was a bartender, former Army Ranger, I believe, who in the late 90s and early aughts started a little bar called Milk and Honey in New York City, and it was speakeasy style. It was this little like shitty building that was basically under an apartment, and it was kind of like on the down low kind of a thing, gangster, total speakeasy style, right? And this guy, and he passed away years ago, so, you know, rest in peace, my brother. But he is largely responsible for starting the cocktail renaissance here in America, and then really all over the world, where he was kind of saying, could we stop with the bullshit, like cocktails, you know, like all these vodka, you know, like, don't get me wrong, Cosmo is a great drink by Andy Cecchini. It's a great cocktail, but like, you know, that we've gotten away from craft ingredients, fresh squeezed juices, you know, caring about measuring, stuff like that, you know. And so Sasha kind of brought us back to that with Milk and Honey. And one of my favorite drinks that he makes is called Gordon's Cup. Now this, you're gonna be, I don't know if you're gonna be shocked. You might be surprised of like how this is put together and the fact that the garnish is salt and pepper. But just stay with me, okay? I forget who the person was who like came up with this and why it was named and all of that. But it's a great cocktail, and I have not made this in a while. But this, for a while, this was my, oh my gosh, this was my go-to Sunday beverage. And in just a few moments, you're gonna see why. So we start with a fresh lime, an entire fresh lime, and I'm gonna roll it on my cutting board right here to activate, just kind of, you know, get things juicy, get things going. We are going to slice this lime into wedges, the entire thing. So we've got 4 and 4, which is good. I've got some musicians on this channel, and as we know, that's about all we can count to. So we're gonna drop all those wedges in there, and I do one other little thing. I squeeze the last one in there. So you've got an entire lime sitting in there, and you can kind of see where he got this from. You're kind of like, oh, this is kind of like a mojito without the mint or whatever. And then the next thing, ooh, I need something from the fridge. Hang on one second. So this is like, this might count as a salad. You know, I've been on this health journey and lost almost 17 pounds in the last 5 weeks. Really watching my sugar and really watching what I eat and no booze during the week. And so one of the things that I am conscious of is what we call lean and green. So I'm in favor of anything green that's going in my cocktail cup. And, you know, anyone else who's on a similar journey might be going, oh, okay, this might count. No, there's alcohol in it, so it doesn't count. But it's better than drinking sugary bullshit. So we're going to drop all this in there. And it calls for 4 cucumber wheels of full size. So I put 1 full Persian cucumber in there. I swear you're going to love it. And then the next we're going to do, this is 1 ounce of simple syrup. This is my own turbinado simple syrup, demerara syrup, you know, the sugar in the raw. So we're going to drop that in there. Stacy's on the show today. Yeah. My beautiful taste tester just came home from her work day, so I'm sure she'll be here to examine the contents. That is the Knickerbocker, the Leatherneck.
Ooh.
Yeah, right. Ooh. Ooh.
No,
she says no on the blue. All right, that was a negative from the taste tester on the Knickerbocker.
These two are kind of retiring here.
All right, she likes the Knickerbocker. All right, and we're gonna put 2 ounces of gin in this, my friends, and top it with ice, and then we're gonna shake it up. And you know what's really fun about this cocktail? This is so rad. You just dump the whole thing into a mason jar. It's pretty fun, and the garnish is salt and pepper, so it's lovely. So we're gonna drop some ice in there, and you have to shake the out of this one. All right, here we go. You have to shake it really hard to get all the flavors. It's worth it, I swear. In drum corps, we used to call that a box 5 shake. Holy shit. Woo! That's what Charlie said once. And then you dump, this is what I do. I dump the entire contents into a mason jar. And the garnish, boys and girls, is salt and pepper. You can see how this, you know, would be a perfect brunch cocktail. Gordon's Cup. Cheers. cucumber, lime. Dude, we talked about balance earlier. I love this drink. And you know what's really fun about it? You can pick the vegetables up and you can eat them. You can dig in there. You can take the cucumbers out of your cocktail glass and you can eat it. It's like salad and a cocktail. It's pretty rad. So, this is so good. I don't know how you came up with this, but it's amazing. All right, taste tester going in. She's gonna give it a whirl.
What is this?
Gordon's cup.
Sweet.
She says sweet. I don't know about that. What's burning? Something's burning.
A candle.
Okay. All right, one more, kids. One more. Stacy says, "What's up?" Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight on our little show. We got one more. Let me see if I can find it. I got to scroll back. I've got all of my cocktails now are on this iPad, so I would say that I would sell it, but a lot of these recipes aren't mine, so I don't know what to do. Let's see. What was my other one? I can do. Oh, gunpowder. Yeah, that one's good. I gotta find it though. This one's cool. This is a. Oh, here it is. It's from the Socialist. Okay, yeah, this one's great. So, one of my favorite cocktails is called a Paper Plane, and this one's great. I love any and all cocktails that use mezcal. So we're gonna start with, this is great. Like the Socialist is this fabulous place down on 4th Street here in Long Beach, and when we had this, I just couldn't believe it. It was just so good, and okay. So I've got a coupe. Yeah, we'll see. I think it was served in a coupe. I'm pretty sure, but let's try it. So we're gonna start with 1 ounce of mezcal. So mezcal, they take the same agave that they make in tequila, but it is roasted underground in a big pit, like they do. If you've ever been to a luau, excuse me, where you put the getting the hiccups from all these drinks, where they put the pig underground and they salt it and they cover it with shit and little leaves and whatever. So imagine doing the same thing with the agave, the plant that makes the tequila. So this is really good stuff, and I think I wish we could do more with mezcal. It's just really great. And so we're gonna start with 1 ounce of mezcal. This is not expensive. This was like, I don't know, maybe $12 at Total Wine & More. It's very reasonable. And it's a great flavor, very smoky flavor. So if you like margaritas, you'll love this one. 1 ounce of grapefruit liqueur. I'm using some Driode. Look at that pepper. Excuse me, that pepper got me. Ounce of this, ounce of grapefruit liqueur. My understanding is it's kind of like a Paper Plane variation. And it's lovely. This is just really good. I haven't made this forever. 1 ounce of Carpano Antiqua Vermouth. This is the best sweet vermouth in the world. This is so good. It's been around since the 1600s. It is so beautiful and so well balanced. And then 1 ounce of Aperol. Aperol is it's a bitter liqueur, kind of similar to Campari, but not quite so bitter, not quite so strong, not quite so sweet, a little lighter. And it's got a lot of the sort of the red, it gets that great color. And then the last of it is 3/4 of an ounce of fresh lime juice. So we're gonna drop that in. Yeah, it's very Paper Plane-esque, which is Sam Ross, one of my favorite cocktails. We made that, so let's drop some ice. I've got just the right amount, maybe just a little bit more ice. Make sure it's really well chilled. And again, if you're interested in, trying the mixology game, you can go on Amazon and get this little set. Make sure you get a match set if you're interested. Get don't just get this and then do a pint glass. There's too much margin for error. And if you smack it, you're gonna break the glass. Trust me, I've learned the hard way. This way, you can do shaken cocktails and shake the hell out of it and not be worried about breaking anything. So, safety is kind of key. So, we're gonna serve this one in a coupe. So, let's pop a top on this and give it a hard shake. About, what was that? Maybe 15 seconds. And I like to shake. It's kind of a feel thing. I hear the ice in there, and it's a sound thing. I kind of notice, well, at least I've started to notice. And this is so it's very, right to the wash line. Holy shit. Gunpowder. Well, let's put some pepper on top, whatever. We're gonna garnish it with pepper, even though it says not to have a garnish, but here we go. Gunpowder cocktail from the Socialist in the LBC. Cheers. Oh my God. Oh, shut the front door. Redemption. Oh my God, it's so good. Okay. This and the paper plane, the pepper, that's a little gnarly. Made by the Great Sam Ross, which is bourbon, Aperol, lemon juice, and a liqueur called Amaro Nino, which is very, excuse me, oh shit, the pepper. Very tart and very citrus. But this is such a well-balanced cocktail. And the smokiness of the mezcal is exquisite. It's so well done. It's great. Like, yeah. I mean, $15. I would easily pay for that. That's so good. Oh man. As you can tell, I'm gonna have another sip or two.
Are you still going?
Last one.
Wish Stacy a happy birthday. It's her birthday.
All right. Stacy's happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. All right. What are you, 20? 23? When are you going to be legal to drink, Stace, so we can go out drinking? Because you're not legal yet, right? Oh, my God.
That's our son.
Oh, that's our son? I thought it was Stacy. All right, cool. Well, thanks again for joining me, everybody, this week. I really appreciate your support of my little show, my little hobby, a little fun. And we'll probably, it's every 2 weeks now. And who knows? Maybe we'll be back next week if I'm bored. But I'm just making a commitment to every 2 weeks. Give me time to do some research on the weekends, since my research is kind of basically limited to the weekends at this point. We're going to do a few more oldies, be the same kind of theme next week. A few oldies, a few newbies. Really appreciate your guys' support. Love you all, and hope to see you next week. Cheers. Be safe.